Oh, you guys, what do I do about this boy? He's right in the middle of my desk. Every time I know, every time I need art therapy, he comes. Oh, he's going to get a little miffed. Maybe he'll leave. No, he's not going to leave. I can't put my coffee on my warmer plate. I'm afraid he'll get on it and burn himself. I'm wanting to work with matte medium today. I'm afraid I'll get his tail or something in it. Do you guys ever have this problem? You know, you love to love on them, but when you want to do something, you want to do something. It's shedding time. Oh my gosh. Arlene, I know you're probably hiving up just looking at this video. Hello everyone. It's Birdie here, the Recycled Hippie Chick. Hey, I am having a good day today, so I thought I better get on here and do a video because you never know what tomorrow brings, right? This is a large journal. I'm going to do Flip Through Friday on Thursday because I'm excited about my journal. It's 10 inches by about 13 inches. So it's a large book. Just one of several that I'm sure I will have. I did not decorate the front because I like the picture. I did the spine. And here we go. Let's get started. I'm not done. I'm just wanting to show you what I have done. I've done very little, but look at this precious fairy. I don't know where she'll go, but she's in here ready to make her debut. Man, I wish I could get you closer. This is a pocket. And I'm going to leave that page because I like the frog. I have not put my pages together yet. A lot of these pages are from my grandkids in the past years, and I decided just to use them in my journal. I'm going to see if my camera's clean. Okay, there we go. I don't know if it is or not, but for those who believe in fairies, this is a Janet Nash inspired fairy. Whenever you see a fairy like this, they're all Janet Nash inspired. This precious lady in her farm, I don't know if you can see her very clearly, but I thought she was cute. I think we did this one on video, actually. Just pages ready to be done. You know what I did with this? I took a stamp pad this one, and I just sprayed it with water and just slid it across the page because I wasn't sure if it had any ink on it or not. So that was fun. Pages ready to be created on. This centerfold is from Paisley. When she was little, she had a cherry trees, a pond, and some sun, and I don't know what all this is. Maybe a flower garden and some butterflies. So I wanted to save that. That'll be in the center of my fairy garden, or my fairy book. I think what I'll do is take a Janet Nash inspired fairy and have her flying through the air somewhere. More pages ready to be worked on. I have a love potion for you from Paisley. This is to Gigi. Crapple has one too, but his is hanging up by his bed. And let's see here. This is kind of a pretty picture. I probably will not go over that. I love Gigi and Crapple from Paisley. I won't go over the ones that my grandkids, you know, the pictures. I love these pages. I love painty paper. I did this one the other day. Just it was a magazine page, and it already had these colors on it, but these colors were going underneath the writing, so I just went over it with the same colors of paint to try to get rid of some of the writing. The mushroom was already on there, and then I found this image in a Stampington magazine, or Somerset, or whatever, one of those. Somerset Studios. And so I put her in there. She looked like a fairy in a cage. Then I did this one the other day. Look at that cute little image of the gnome sleeping under. My favorite book as a child was called The Little People. And it showed this family of people that lived, and they had a matchbox for drawers and all that stuff. It was so cute. And I have just been in love with things like that ever since. And I have it. By golly, I'm going to go get it and show you. It was not called The Little People. It was called A Tiny Family. And I still have it. See, look. Isn't that precious? See that little matchbox? I guess the matchbox was their bed. But I just loved this stuff because I loved playing outside and pretending like this. Love, love, love it. Anyway, that's my book. Anyway. Continue on. Here's one ready for a tag. I need to make a tag. I did this one. Just had this cute magazine image of that girl with her fairy wings on. So I put her here with a little, there is a fairy everywhere. A little poem out of a magazine I found, and then I just stamped and put one of my little slow stitch mushrooms on there, in which I could only find one. I have all kinds of them made up and I cannot find them. I've put them somewhere safe. The end. So I will just continue on slowly, and maybe one day we'll have a full flip through. So today what I would like to do is get out some of my art journals and just go through and put some tags or pockets or whatever they need in them, just because I found myself sitting here this morning with some Happy Mail that I had gotten a while back, and I was making these tags out of whoever sent me the Happy Mail. I think it was Deb Spanukel. I was putting images on the tags so that I could use them. There's one for my birdie journal, my garden journal, you know, stuff like that. And I'm thinking, Birdie, you have a whole box of already made tags and pockets and belly bands and tabs and all this stuff over here that needs to go in an art journal. So today I thought we would just sit and go through that stuff and put some stuff in art journals. So let's get started. And there again, we may not get around to it because I found another book that I want to flip through. This one here is my What Would Janet Nash Do book. It's my composition notebook, and you know how she just glues down magazine pictures and stuff in hers? That's what I wanted to make this out of. I wanted to make this very childish, very free-flowing, put anything wherever I want, scribble, do whatever I want, and it has not worked for me. So I'm going to go on to a volume 2. This will be volume 1. Let's just call it volume 1. Volume 1. 2025. And I will go on to make another one, and I will try again, because I end up trying to make sense of everything, and that's not what I'm wanting to do. So let's just go ahead and get started and flip through this. there's nothing to explain, you know. I started out putting papers on, and then before you know it, I'm color coordinating each page with the other one. I started out with this pretty picture that I thought was pretty, and before you know it, I'm adding shoes and, you know, making it look like a real room. I'm not going to be complaining about it. I'm just going to show you. Now here I was able to leave. Do I have a, I thought I had a, yes I do. I was able to leave the, what do you call it, macaroni and cheese packet whole without painting over it, which was hard. This says, I put down a part of myself on each page, and each is unique. Perhaps others will know me in a new and deeper way by looking at my life on paper. Or else they'll say, oh my gosh, this woman is so confusing. Anyway, these were just, it said dry eye, and I just put a piece of paper over it and said pretty eye. So this is definitely not done. I can go in and put something else down there, but it's pretty well full of something on every page that I have started. Now, see, this one here and this one I gave up and just put a word above it because I didn't know how to go on and put something above a house. That just didn't make sense to me. So here, I had trouble putting something below a house. So, I don't know. I just have trouble. I'm having trouble because that is a macaroni and cheese box. But I did put something on the inside. I left this little pencil box plain, and I just put a little color sheet in there. But notice it kind of matches. I want to get away from that. I want to be whimsical and playful and, you know, oh, isn't that precious, that little tag? Praying the promises. And then I just stuck a little postcard in there. I did doodle on the back. But see, I don't have anything. I put a little birds up here. I just don't, I have trouble sticking other things on there. This one, I just thought this little precious painting of this girl was just absolutely beautiful. And so I put on there. I'm having trouble. I did this with shaving cream, and I love these colors and the way they went on there. And I just cannot, I can't cover it up. I really need somebody to just sit with me and show me how to get out of my head and do what's trapped inside of me. Oh, blank page. Now this one here, we're getting closer to Janet, aren't we? Just put some things down. That's closer to Janet. This is closer to Janet. But it's not finished, so I need to work with myself to glue something else up there. This is trying. I don't have anything to put in that envelope yet, and I could glue all kinds of magazine stuff on here. I just love to feel my papers. I'm sorry. You're probably going, get your hands off of it. I just love the feel. See here, something in me wanted to make this whole thing grass and sky. This, I had a picture. I should have saved it and put it in here so we'd know what my inspiration was. My inspiration was a picture in a Somerset studio of a little cityscape. So this is my copycat version of that. And I'm very pleased with that. I was not pleased when I made it, but when you go ahead and keep something that you made and come back to it later, it just looks in a whole new way. Your eyes see it in a whole new manner. And I have probably said that 100 times. art is all around us, and the inspiration will come if you let it. If you let it, Birdie, it will come. The bee. A little card inside my envelope. Yeah, none of these are done. You can always go back over them and glue something in later. This is very close to Janet Nash. I just put some pictures. I did that fake writing in a circle all the way around. I made some waves because it was a very oceany look. Janet Nash prompts. It says, spray ink and magazine page 39. That's what I did. But there should have been more. That must be the only 2 prompts I got done on that one, on that day. This one's not done, but it started. See, I was able to just glue those 3 pictures on. Then here I try to put a whole spread together. I'm falling away from just being whimsical. Doing an entire art journal spread there. Here's another entire art journal spread that I copycatted and didn't write down who it was. I watched some lady on YouTube and she was doing this in her version, and so I did it in my version. And here, I like this. I had cleaned off a stamp over here, stencil, and I thought it really looked like the bricks in this picture. So what I did was I took some watercolors and I kind of drew from some colors I saw in this picture, and I just smooshed those watercolors around. I like that one now. I wanted to preserve this cover of a little kid's book. Old little kids book. See, these things, I should write down the date that the book was, and I don't. I love these little felted dinosaurs, so I've started a page with those. And there again, I'm practicing drawing from colors in the picture for the background. Some house plants. I just finished this one this morning. And I thought these were very Janet Nashy. She loves windows and stuff like that. Here's a little fairy and a girl on her camper overlooking the bay, and she's doing her art. I thought that was cute. Some more house plants. I did not glue it all the way down in case I find something I want to go around it with behind it. This is one of my grandkids' creations, so I wanted to preserve as much of it as I could. I don't know who. I'm going to have to ask them. They will know. Even though they're 13 and 9, they will remember who did that. Here's McDonald's bag. This is Janet Nashy, isn't it? I have a leaf from Outdoors and a tag off of some toy. A box, you know, the back of the box. This is an envelope, but it doesn't have anything in, I mean a pocket, but it doesn't have anything in it yet. The end. So that's the end of that. Let's see. Let's get at least one book and play in it for a little bit. Okay. First of all, I really don't even have the cover of this finished. So that needs to be done. But I don't know what I would put on it. So we'll do that another day. This is one of my first ones. This is back when I was doing the entire book, like an altered book, Lori Marie Jenkins style. Okay, I have, what does this say? I have something in this pocket. I am an available living vessel empowered by God's Holy Spirit to be a sounding board for the gospel of Jesus Christ and a vessel through whom Jesus Christ can serve other people. This cart was my very first, it says, this cart was my very first art studio. Alicia was arting right along with me, and Chad was doing his thing. Oh, the light. Let me get rid of this light. Oh, that's 419 West Mike in Andover, Kansas. Alicia was 6, Chad was 3 in 1990. I had a little roller cart, and I had all my paints and everything on it, and I just did my thing. I just rolled that cart wherever I wanted to sit, and that was my art studio. I may never get done if I just do a look through of all these. This one here, I keep a piece of wax paper because I was into shiny gloss Mod Podge, and man, it sticks. This has got, oh, me, my mom, my daughter, and my firstborn granddaughter, Erilyn. So that's what? 1, 2, 3 generations. Okay, now this one is pretty much done. It's got a little booklet in it. That's cute. Gosh, I love, maybe I should go through these more often and get inspiration from them. This has an old letter in it that I thought was cool, that I just clipped in there. Just has some pictures that I liked. I thought this opened. Yeah, it does. I haven't written anything in that. So, I'm stopping right here and I'm going to write in. Okay, I wrote in it. So now I will continue on. Whoever told me about the idea to add a board to extend my, you know, whatever you call it, my camera out here, thank you so much. This is a card from a friend, and anyway, I'm just looking through. I'm not going to explain each page. I'm just looking for things I need to finish. This one here may just well be finished. This is not. This could use a focal image, couldn't it? Let's see if we can find one. Okay, I like this image of this fox family, but this pink is throwing me off, so I want to cut this off. Actually, I don't want to cut it off. I want to rip it off. And just to see what it looks like without that pink, I think it would go on this page. Oh, well, okay. I'm going to have to cut these sides because I don't think I can rip them very good. You know what I thought the other day? I went to empty the trash, and the trash was filled with so many good things. I mean, it was trash, okay? And then I sweeped up my floor. I sweeped up a pile off my floor. And I thought, you know what I ought to do sometime on one of my videos? I ought to, perfect. I ought to just sweep up the pieces of paper off the floor and dig a handful out of the trash, and I have to make an art journal page out of only using my trashy items. But I am so needing to use up what I really have that I cannot believe I even considered doing that. Like, I have got so many focal images to use up and all that stuff that I can't even believe that I was thinking about doing something out of this stuff I sweep up off the floor. My goodness. I have to tell you a quick story while I'm gluing this on. I had my husband out in his shop around his wood stove has a hole in the wall about the size of a golf ball up where his chimney pipe goes out the wall. And he had a jenny wren come in and built a nest and laid eggs in a motorcycle helmet up on his shelf out in his mechanic shop. And he hollered at me last week and said, "Hey, the kids have flown the coop, but they won't leave the shop." He left all the big overhead doors open, and they were just flying around in there and landing up in the rafters, and she was going in and out of the shop getting bugs and bringing it in and feeding them, and she was just busy, and they were living happily in the shop. Well, that was on Saturday, and then on Sunday he hollered at me and said, quick, come here, get the Dawn dish soap." One of the babies, who was not ready to fly the coop, had jumped out of the coop and was hopping around on the floor, and it had jumped in a puddle of oil from what he was working on. So I grabbed up the baby, I brought it in the house and got the Dawn dish soap out and tried to get as much of the oil off as I could, and put it back out there. I put it back in the nest, thinking maybe it'll stay in the nest and Mom will feed it up there. So he, whatever it is, jumped back out of the nest at some point and was back on the floor Monday. So let's put an image on here. So I brought it back in Monday. I caught it again because I had put stuff over all the little piles of oil that I could find. And yesterday I brought it in. And went back out there yesterday, and it was still jumping around yucky areas, like behind the wood stove and everywhere where there were still like kitty litter soaking up stuff, you know. Let's do this one. Let's cut one out of here. And it was still getting gummy with grossness again. So I brought it in, I cleaned it up again. And this time I decided Mom was nowhere to be found, and all the brothers and sisters were gone out of the shop. I left the door open thinking I would see Mom, because she came in. She wasn't afraid of my husband at all. She'd come in and feed him with him out there working. Didn't stop her at all. She did not come in at all. I stayed out there looking for that baby for an hour. Well, I knew where it was, but I couldn't get it because it kept hopping behind, you know, old pieces of metal and stuff that he had in the shop. She never came in at all. So I said, I'm going to take this baby and wash it up again, and this time I'm going to put it in a bird cage that I have in the house. Look at that. I have a dragonfly sitting right here I could have used. And I was going to bring it in and put it in that bird cage, and I was going to feed it until it was old enough to jump out and be on its own. So I brought it in and I cleaned it up, and the little fart would not eat anything. My husband said, at first I was grinding up worms and egg whites and putting it in a syringe. My husband said, you do not have to grind up the food. Mom was bringing in big bugs, wings hanging out and everything, and those birds were eating them right down. So I went out and found a June bug, wouldn't touch it. Went out and dug up worms, wouldn't touch them. Wouldn't touch nothing. And put it on a heating pad. I took its old nest in, put it in its nest, put it on a heating pad, and by morning it was pretty weak. So Terry said, take it out there in the cage, leave the door open on the cage, sit it outside of that little hole by the, you know, where the mom's been going out, in and out, and it'll scream, because it screamed continually all night last night. And it'll scream and mom will hear it and come feed it. So I did. I put it out there at 6:30 this morning, and he called me about 10 o'clock and said, how's my baby doing? And I went out there to check on it, and it had died. So, I mean, you know, there were 4 babies total. So mom is off somewhere with brand new babies outside. She's got her hands full anyway, but it's just the fact that these things bring me great stress, and I worry about it, and I stress over it, and I lose sleep over it, and just crazy how my mind goes. So that was my heartbreak sorrow for the day. Now, let's put this back in there. I'm just going to stick the tip of it in because I don't want it to dry and stick on there. So this one is done except for the front. What should I do? Should I stick like a sticker on the outside that says done and put it back on the shelf? I want to know it's been completely gone through and finished. This is finished. What? I don't think I've ever finished a junk journal before. This is finished. There was no empty pages, right? Oh my goodness. Okay, well that's super cool. So I want to document that it's finished. I'm afraid if I just stick a label on it, it'll fall off because it won't be very sticky. I'll just put it in another area until I get them all done, and then I'll put them back on the shelf. So I'm going to stop for there. We will see you. I hope I got all this on video. I hope you were able to see it all. Well, anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye from Birdie. Okay, I'm getting ready to put this stuff up, and I thought, no, show everybody what you got today before you put it all up. Oh, here. No, I didn't get that. Okay. So I went, my friend Tracy bought some stuff at a junk store in Newton, which is about 30-minute drive from here. And so I went up to pick up her goodies. And while I was there, I went to the op shop and found some goodies. So I'm just going to show you everything I got. I've already put 6 hankies in the washer and 3 vintage cards away. So this is what I got. I got 3 pair of jeans. I'm like, must be losing weight. I don't know. The scale's not moving, but my clothes are getting too big. So I got 3 pair of jeans. I got this material here. This was kind of sparkly. It reminded me of Maria. So I got that. This reminded me of Maria. I got that. How much is there? There's like a yard and a third there for $2.50. Nothing was over $3. Sparkly reminded me of Maria. Sparkly reminded, no, this one didn't remind me of Maria. I just liked that for slow stitching, there were so many different elements to that. I got these. Maria. Janet Nash always does things with little images on them, and I don't have anything with images, so I found a couple things that had images on them. I found some satiny, sparkly, soft ribbon that I could make maybe yo-yo things out of, Maria. What do you think? I don't know. I've never made a yo-yo thing like you do. Those, I guess they're yo-yos. I got some appliques and some ribbon, lace ribbon, sparkly ribbon. This was supposed to be a hanky, but I wouldn't blow my nose on it, but I'll sure use it for my art journals. This is silk. Maria, any ideas what I can do with this silk? It's a hanky. Then I got, just this one's too rough for my nose. Too rough for my nose. So I just got those. I can paint like Maria does with her highlighters and stuff on those. Here's another cute one for slow stitching is what I'm thinking. Then I got each one of these packs was $1 with all this material in it. I got that one. I got this one. And look, they even kind of color coordinate them. Isn't that cute? This one. I am in the slow stitch business. This one. And this one. So, $24, you guys. I think I did pretty good. What do you think? There we go. Just wanted to show that to you before I start putting it all away.